Here we are in cold and sunny Switzerland. We're off to Mombasa today on Eurowings Discover in business class. There was a Meilenschnäppchen, so only paid 18,000 miles and more, and about 450 euros in taxes to fly business class to Mombasa and back. For the first leg, I flew from Zurich to Frankfurt, and I got to try out the new Marhaba lounge at Zurich airport. The lounge is pretty small. The food was okay, the chicken curry was a bit bland, the sandwiches were pretty good, and the drink selection was okay as well. Not that much seating area, and it was a little bit full, but I wanted to try it out because you can get access for free with your priority pass, and off we were to Frankfurt. Look at that, Zurich Lake. It's amazing to see the capital city of Switzerland from up here and the Alps in the back. Very interesting flight. Yeah, then we got some salmon, some potatoes for the very short hop to Frankfurt, which is about 40 minutes, and very bitter salad as usual. In Frankfurt, flying to Mombasa on Eurowings Discover after some terrible mess ups thanks to Miles and More. It's been a very stressful few days, 2 days late thanks to some errors they made. But we're on the way now, so I'm about to go to the lounge, check out this lounge, and then we are off to Mombasa. The Lufthansa Bistro Lounge, see what that's all about. The flight is, I guess, about 8 hours to Mombasa. The airport is surprisingly empty, which is really good. Things are going quite fast. Now for a bit of work, and then it's time to fly. Lufthansa Bistro Lounge now, which you can only get into if you're flying business class, so priority pass is not going to be good enough here. There is a Lux lounge between concourse B and C. Ain't got time for that today, so let's just try the business class lounge. The Bistro Lounge is actually quite decent. There was a generous selection of snacks and meals to have, including a little ramen bar, and of course all these little food dishes you can see here, and drinks of course too. The alcohol selection was also pretty decent, but you would expect that from the Frankfurt airport, which is the flagship airport for Lufthansa. And yes, I enjoyed my time here while waiting for my next flight, which came around pretty quickly. They're quite strict on the groups. Apparently you won't get through the machine if you try and sneak in to a different group. It's going to be the same as Lufthansa business class, so I'm excited to review it. But I also don't expect any kind of massive comfort, let's put it that way. But for a night flight to Mombasa, cannot complain. And this time there is no chance of an upgrade because I'm already sitting in row one. Yes, there's no first class on this flight, so it's just business. That is much more comfortable than sitting in economy. Actually cost me only 18,000 miles because of a Meilenschnäppchen, which also led to a lot of dramas when I tried to change the flight. Well, they changed it, and then they refused their own change. Anyway, we're on our way now. I think it's the most exciting moment, walking towards the plane always. My seat 1K, how that's like.
Yeah, bitte.
Eurowings Discover uses Lufthansa's own business class seat. These are arranged in a 2-2-2 configuration, which means if you're sitting at the window like I am, you need to step over your seatmate. But that's just a small inconvenience, and sitting at the front gives you a much bigger footwell, as you will see.
Da sind Sie dein Blut verdünnt. Wie denn los?
As you can see, the staff were really kind and funny and took the time to speak to us. You also get a very decent blanket and pillow. And you also get an amenity kit, which is a little shopping bag with the usual things inside. For example, some lotion from L'Occitane and some lip balm, which is really good quality actually. I used that for quite a while. And yeah, some business class earplugs and of course toothbrush, toothpaste, and a mask and some socks. Some very big socks. So I put the mask to good use and I slept pretty much the entire way to Mombasa. We had a small breakfast just before landing with one slice of salmon and a granola fruit bowl and some very dry scrambled eggs. And to make this review a little bit more comprehensive, I have included the return flight, which you will see just now. I'm in the plane. So hopefully this will be as uneventful as the last one. As I mentioned before, the footwells in the bulkhead seats are considerably bigger than in any of the other seats behind the first row. And that really helps when you're sleeping because you can spread your feet a little bit more and turning isn't such a nightmare. And if you choose a seat that's against the wall, you'll also get a little bit of added space to spread out. And yes, as you can see, my feet can barely reach the footrest, and in sleeping mode that's almost a full 2 meters. As on Lufthansa, Austrian and Swiss, you can individually adjust certain parts of the seat and also the overall hardness of the seat. Although you can't really compare this business class to the Middle Eastern business classes or the Far East Asian ones, it's still pretty comfortable. I was surprised to see that they had different products from L'Occitane on the way back. And I got the identical bag as I did before. Compared to other business class seats, the Lufthansa and Eurowings business class seats are a little bit exposed. And soon it was time for the starter, which was some salmon again, but this time the presentation wasn't that great. And the main course was actually quite tasty despite looking very strange. Braised beef with purple gnocchi. Before landing we got one more meal. It was a very boring oriental bowl with some falafel, and I would have liked to have something a bit more substantial, but it was okay. And now we shall change back to the flight going to Mombasa, and this was the view that we had coming in. Here we are, we've made it to Mombasa. And please check out my next video. We're on our way to Mombasa, where we're going to go fishing, go to a wedding, and also have a lot of fun. And of course, as always, we're going to eat a ton.